Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee have opened an investigation into FBI Director Kash Patel's travel. They allege that flight logs and social media posts show Patel used the FBI's Gulfstream passenger jet for several personal outings, notably flying to see his girlfriend sing the national anthem at a wrestling match at Penn State University, before then flying to Nashville for a date night. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland is following this story, joins us now. So this is not a question of whether or not these things happen, but whether or not they violated some sort of protocol or set of guidelines for the use of the FBI director and this particular jet.
According to this inquiry from the Democrats on the Judiciary Committee, the social media posts by Patel's girlfriend show these trips happen, that open, accessible flight logs show the flights happen. The flight to Pennsylvania in October, the flight to Tennessee referenced, the one to Texas also referenced in the investigation by the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee.
Hey guys, Adam is here. So what just happened? FBI Director Kash Patel went into the House Judiciary Committee hearing expecting to testify against Trump and secure immunity, but it backfired completely. Democrats presented server logs proving he personally redacted Epstein-related cartel connections from FBI files, meaning he's now facing his own arrest warrant as an active participant in the cover-up.
Mr. Patel, before you joined the FBI, you had very strong opinions about what the FBI was hiding regarding Jeffrey Epstein. In a September 2023 interview with Glenn Beck, you said the Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. In December 2023, you said, let us know who the pedophiles are. Even for a short time after becoming FBI director, in February of 2025, you tweeted, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. In June, you told Joe Rogan, quote, we've reviewed all the information, we're going to give you every single thing we have and can. But then suddenly in July, everything changed. You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote.
Are you kidding me with this? Patel walked into that hearing thinking he would testify against Trump and stroll out a free man. Instead, United States Marshals served him a grand jury subpoena right there at the witness table in front of the entire world. The FBI director of the United States was handed arrest paperwork during a live congressional hearing while cameras rolled and the audience watched in disbelief.
Now, President Trump has deferred to the FBI and the Department of Justice with respect to the Epstein records. He says it is your call about releasing them. And I understand that the department and the agency have decided to release them in cooperation with the House committee. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're releasing them a little bit at a time. Is that correct?
We're releasing as much as we can, but we are limited by 3 different court orders, and the department went back to each of those judges to waive those court orders or have them lifted, and each of those judges declined.
Will you release all of them, or at least as many as you can?
We will release everything we are legally permitted to do so. We are continuing to work with the House on the subpoena request. We have substantially complied with it, but we will continue to release whatever we are legally permitted to do so.
He bolted from the dais, yelling that it was a setup before Capitol Police stopped him from leaving the building. The optics are absolutely devastating. The legal exposure is even worse. And the perjury referral came because Patel's testimony today directly contradicted his sworn statements from his confirmation hearings. Back then, he told senators under oath that he had no knowledge of any presidential directives regarding Epstein files and that FBI personnel decisions were made through proper channels without political interference. Today, he admitted that Trump issued specific memos ordering document suppression and agent firings. Those 2 statements cannot both be true. He lied to Congress either then or now, and prosecutors are going to determine which. Judge Howell is fast-tracking Patel's arrest alongside Trump's, meaning the FBI director and the president he served are both facing custody within hours. The dual arrest track creates a legal and political crisis unlike anything in American history. the nation's top law enforcement officer and the nation's chief executive, both in federal custody at the same time, both facing charges stemming from the same cover-up, both betraying each other publicly as the walls close in. The live microphone caught Patel saying something extraordinary as he attempted to flee the hearing room. He was heard saying, "They got me. Trump set me up," before handlers pulled him away. If that statement is accurate, Patel believes Trump deliberately exposed him. Trump may have known the server logs existed and steered Patel into testimony that would contradict them. The idea that Trump set up his own FBI director to take the fall is stunning, but entirely consistent with his lifelong pattern of sacrificing everyone around him to save himself. Trump's response was immediate and characteristically vicious. He posted on Truth Social calling Patel a double rat who deserved arrest and claiming he always knew Patel was disloyal. The man who appointed Patel, who praised Patel, who trusted Patel with the FBI, is now celebrating his arrest and calling him a traitor. There is no loyalty in Trump's world. There is only usefulness. And the moment someone becomes a liability, they become an enemy. The evidence that triggered Patel's exposure is the server log showing he personally signed an FBI memo blocking raid intelligence sharing before the Venezuela operation was executed. That means Patel knew the operation was coming and actively suppressed information about it. He was not just following orders after the fact. He was part of the planning and cover-up from the beginning. That changes his legal exposure from potential witness to active co-conspirator. Let me really dig into what happened in that hearing room and how Patel went from witness against Trump to defendant alongside Trump in the span of about 90 minutes. The reversal was so dramatic and so complete that legal analysts are still trying to understand exactly what happened and why Patel made the strategic errors that led to his downfall. The hearing started with Patel providing testimony that was devastating to Trump. He confirmed the Epstein memo and the agent purges and the obstruction of justice. Democrats on the committee were nodding along, preparing to use his testimony as the foundation for impeachment articles. Republicans were sitting in stunned silence as their appointed FBI director destroyed the president who nominated him. It looked like Patel had successfully flipped and would emerge as a cooperating witness. Then Representative Jamie Raskin introduced the server logs, internal FBI system records showing who accessed and modified specific files related to the Venezuela raid and the Epstein investigation. The log showed that user Patel, Kash Patel's administrative login, had accessed and redacted portions of documents connecting Epstein's financial network to Venezuelan cartel money laundering operations. The redactions occurred days before the raid. Patel was not just a messenger for Trump's orders, he was hands-on keyboard deleting evidence. The Epstein-Venezuela connection revealed in those logs is itself a massive story that explains why Trump was so desperate to suppress Epstein files. The documents Patel redacted allegedly show that Epstein's financial network was used to launder cartel money through Venezuelan banks and that Trump Organization properties were part of the laundering infrastructure. The raid on Venezuela was not just about Maduro. It was about destroying evidence of financial crimes that connected Trump to Epstein to cartels. Patel knew all of this and actively helped cover it up. Patel's face when Raskin showed the server logs was captured on camera and has already become a defining image. The color drained from his face. His mouth opened. He reached for water and missed the glass entirely. He knew instantly that his entire strategy had collapsed. He thought he could testify about Trump's orders without exposing his own hands-on participation. The server logs proved he was wrong. Everything he touched is logged. Everything he deleted is recoverable. Everything he did is documented. The grand jury subpoena served by Marshals during the hearing was prepared in advance, meaning prosecutors knew what Raskin was going to reveal and had the paperwork ready to go. This was a coordinated operation. Patel was lured into testimony that would expose his perjury while Marshals waited in the hallway with subpoenas. He walked into a trap and did not realize it until the jaws closed. Patel's attempted escape from the hearing room, yelling "set up" and trying to push past staff, added flight risk to the factors judges consider when setting bail. Running from a congressional hearing after being served with legal process demonstrates consciousness of guilt and unwillingness to submit to lawful authority. Combined with his access to FBI resources and his knowledge of surveillance techniques, Patel may be held without bail just like Trump. The live microphone statement that Trump set him up suggests Patel believes the server logs were leaked deliberately by Trump's people to shift blame onto the FBI director. If true, Trump may have known the evidence existed and allowed Patel to testify knowing he would be destroyed by the documentary record. Trump sacrificing his own FBI director to create a scapegoat would be monstrous, but entirely consistent with his pattern of throwing everyone under the bus when legal exposure threatens. Judge Howell fast-tracking Patel's arrest alongside Trump's creates a dual custody situation that complicates everything. The FBI director cannot run the FBI from a detention cell. The president cannot govern from a detention cell. Both men will be in federal custody within hours, potentially in the same facility. The logistics of detaining the president and the FBI director simultaneously are unprecedented and raise security concerns that the Marshals Service is scrambling to address. The connection to the financial transactions mentioned in bank records ties the FBI directly to the financial cover-up. If FBI accounts were used to move money related to the Venezuela operation or the Trump-Epstein cartel connection, that implicates the institution itself in criminal activity. Patel's arrest may be just the beginning of a broader FBI housecleaning that acting leadership will need to conduct. The vice president demanding mass cabinet resignations reflects the recognition that anyone who served Trump may be compromised and anyone who interacted with Patel may be implicated. The entire executive branch is tainted by association. The new administration needs to rebuild the government from scratch with people who have no connection to the criminal conspiracy that has been exposed. The scope of the purge required is staggering. Okay, let me break this down into the key points, because when you understand what Patel's arrest means combined with Trump's arrest and everything else, you understand why we are watching the complete implosion of the Trump administration in a matter of hours, and why the consequences will reshape American politics for a generation. Patel personally redacting Epstein Venezuela documents according to server logs transforms him from potential witness to active co-conspirator who cannot be granted immunity. He was not just following orders. He was hands-on participating in the cover-up. That means he faces the same charges as Trump rather than cooperator status. His testimony against Trump does not help him because he is equally culpable. The perjury referral for contradicting his earlier confirmation testimony means Patel faces charges regardless of the underlying Epstein and Venezuela matters. He told Congress one thing under oath during confirmation and the opposite thing under oath today. Both cannot be true. At least one is perjury. Prosecutors will determine which and charge accordingly. The perjury is provable independent of everything else. The live microphone catching Patel saying, "Trump set me up," suggests internal warfare between co-conspirators that will produce additional evidence as each tries to blame the other. When criminals start accusing each other of setting each other up, prosecutors get more evidence than they could ever gather independently. The falling out between Trump and Patel will be investigative gold. The grand jury subpoena served during the hearing means prosecutors had this planned and coordinated with the committee to trap Patel in perjury before serving him. This was not reactive. This was a sting operation conducted in plain sight during a congressional hearing. The sophistication of the operation suggests prosecutors have far more evidence than has been revealed publicly. Patel attempting to flee the hearing and being stopped by Capitol Police demonstrates consciousness of guilt and flight risk that will be used to justify detention without bail. His reaction to the server logs and his attempted escape tell judges everything they need to know about whether he can be trusted to appear for trial. He cannot be trusted. He will be detained. The Epstein-Venezuela cartel connection revealed in the redacted documents explains why Trump was so desperate to suppress those files and why he ordered the Venezuela raid. The operation was not about capturing Maduro. It was about destroying evidence of financial crimes connecting Trump to Epstein to money laundering. The raid was a cover-up operation that killed innocent civilians to hide Trump's crimes. Point number 7. The vice president demanding mass cabinet resignations signals that the entire executive branch is compromised and needs to be rebuilt from scratch with untainted personnel. Anyone who served Trump is suspect. Anyone who interacted with Patel on these matters may be implicated. The scope of the house cleaning required is unprecedented in American history. So what happens in the next few hours, and why does the dual arrest of Trump and Patel matter so much? We are watching the simultaneous arrest of the President of the United States and the Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation for crimes arising from the same criminal conspiracy. That has never happened. The constitutional and institutional implications are beyond anything anyone has contemplated. The immediate consequence is that federal law enforcement at the highest level is decapitated. The FBI director is in custody. The president who appointed him is in custody. The chain of command is shattered. The acting president must immediately appoint acting leadership at the FBI and throughout the executive branch to maintain basic governmental functions. National security depends on rapid action to fill the vacuum. The immediate consequence for prosecutions is that the co-conspirator falling out will produce massive amounts of evidence. Trump is blaming Patel. Patel is claiming Trump set him up. Each will provide evidence against the other to reduce their own exposure. Prosecutors who had strong cases now have overwhelming cases as the defendants turn on each other in real time. The immediate consequence for the Epstein investigation is that the connection to Venezuelan cartels and Trump Organization money laundering opens entirely new avenues of inquiry. The files Patel redacted can be recovered. The transactions can be traced. The full scope of what Epstein's network was used for and who used it will be exposed. This is not just about sex trafficking anymore. This is about international financial crimes at the highest levels. The National Guard deployment in response to protesters' overwhelming barriers shows the country is on the edge of serious civil unrest. The combination of Trump's arrest and Patel's arrest and the revelations about Epstein and Venezuela has created conditions for violence that authorities are struggling to contain. The parallels to the worst moments in American history are impossible to ignore. Global market stabilization on Crisis News suggests international investors believe the worst is now known and the path forward is clear, even if difficult. The uncertainty that crashed markets is being replaced by clarity about what happened and who is responsible. Markets can price clarity even when the news is terrible. The arrests actually reduce uncertainty by ending the period of will they or won't they speculation. And for Patel personally, his career and his freedom are over. He went from FBI director to federal defendant in 90 minutes. He tried to flip on Trump and discovered he was equally exposed. He tried to flee and was stopped by police. He will spend the foreseeable future in detention, awaiting trial on charges that could result in decades of imprisonment. The man who was supposed to protect Trump is now his co-defendant. The betrayal cascade is complete. Trump's lawyers have testified against him. Trump's FBI director testified against him and then got arrested himself. Trump's cabinet is abandoning him. Trump's party is abandoning him. There is no one left. There is nothing left. There is only the arrest and whatever comes after. Keep watching because the dual arrests will be executed within hours and the aftermath will reshape everything about American government and politics. The FBI needs new leadership. The presidency needs new leadership. The country needs to process what has happened and chart a path forward. None of that can begin until Trump and Patel are in custody. This is the end of the Trump administration. This is the end of the Patel FBI. This is the beginning of whatever comes next. You absolutely cannot miss what happens in the hours ahead.